Hi, everyone. My name is Tracy Kazmersky. I'm a pediatric pulmonologist at the University of Pittsburgh, and I do a lot of research around sexual and reproductive health care in CF. And today I am here to talk to you about reproductive health and cystic fibrosis, 5 things to know. So the first thing to know is that people with cystic fibrosis can have children. And there are many ways to build a family aside from you or your partner becoming pregnant. As you can see on this slide, people with CF have successfully become parents through pregnancy, adoption, step parenthood, foster care, or surrogacy. And interestingly, when thinking about pregnancy in people with cystic fibrosis, we've seen a huge uptick in pregnancies since the widespread use of highly effective modulator therapies at the end of 2019. As you can see at that point in the US CF registry, we went from about 309 pregnancies among people with CF up into the 600s in 2020, 2021, and again in 2022. The second thing to know is that CF can affect fertility. Now, in males with CF, 98% of males with CF are infertile and require assisted reproductive technology to have biologic children. This is because they are missing their vas deferens, which connects their testes and epididymis with the seminal vesicle. And this congenital bilateral absence of the vas deferens means that there's no semen in ejaculate. Females with CF have no differences in their anatomy compared to people without CF, but they also may experience subfertility and require assisted reproductive technology. This is because the mucus in their cervix is thicker and stickier, leading to issues with sperm getting through and suboptimal pH or acid levels in their cervix, allowing for sperm to work properly and fertilize eggs. With those issues with fertility, assisted reproductive technology can certainly be used to allow people with CF to have biologic children. Now, for males, sperm can be retrieved through several ways. This can be done either via an open surgical approach from the epididymis, or MESA on this slide, or from the testes, or TESE, or through the skin using a needle, either through the epididymis or from the testes. After these procedures are done, the sperm that's retrieved is combined with a partner's egg in vitro fertilization, and males with CF can have biologic children. For females who experience subfertility, a similar process can be followed with their partner. So the third thing to know is that the CF team knows that reproductive health is important, but we really don't always do a good job bringing it up. Many years ago, I did interviews with women with CF discussing reproductive health. And as one woman pointed out, she said, it's always like you just don't talk about it. It's one of those things that's left to the side. It's like they feel it's not as important as everything else, but sometimes it is. I mean, it wasn't life or death threatening, but it could have changed my life a lot. So in thinking of these words, we went on to do several national provider surveys, which show that the majority of US CF providers feel that reproductive health is important for both females and males with CF, and that this aspect of healthcare should be standardized in the CF care model. But these surveys also found major discrepancies between how important providers feel these topics are to discuss and how often they report routinely addressing them in their practice. And these discrepancies were much more prominent among pediatric providers who cared for adolescents and young adults compared to adult providers who cared for older patients with CF. When we've done several interviews and focus groups in thinking about how people with CF access reproductive health care, they've said many things. The woman at the top reflected, I don't think they think about vaginas. I just think they like to think about lungs. And despite this perceived discomfort by CF providers talking about reproductive health, people with CF also say that they want these discussions to be happening with their CF care team, because they feel like reproductive health and all their concerns in that area are all really CF related. Number 4, there's a lot of ongoing CF reproductive health research. A lot of this is being spearheaded by the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation in partnership with their Sexual Health, Reproduction, and Gender Research Working Group, or SHARING. The mission of this working group is really to improve the lives of people with CF by developing a body of scientific evidence aimed at understanding the interplay of sexual and reproductive health and CF. The hope is this can form a basis for guidelines and for shared decision-making for people with CF, their families, their partners, and healthcare providers. Now, the sharing group is partnering in research across many aspects of CF reproductive health, including pregnancy, parenthood, contraception, urinary incontinence, the impact and interplay of sex hormones and cystic fibrosis, the development and testing of new reproductive health decision support tools and training, male reproductive health experiences and preferences, and more to come. So stay tuned. And the 5th thing to know, and this is the most important, don't be afraid to talk about reproductive health with your CF care team. When you're talking about reproductive health, some of the things that I tell my own patients is to write down your questions ahead of time, either in your phone, on a piece of paper, or even sending an email to part of your healthcare team just to make sure that they can see them ahead of time. It's always helpful to pick a member of the team that you're comfortable talking to. That may be your CF doctor, but it may be a social worker, it may be a nurse. It may be any member of that multidisciplinary team that you see. The 3rd thing is giving teens space to talk about these issues alone with their CF team is really important. When we've done research talking with adolescents and young adults about where they wanted to hear about reproductive health, they were very clear that they wanted to have these discussions with their CF team, and they wanted their CF team to initiate these conversations. But they also wanted their parents or their family members not to be in the room when those discussions were happening. So giving space for teens to speak about issues around reproductive health or any aspect of their care can really allow them to ask the questions that are on their mind and give the team space to talk about all these issues confidentially. The 4th thing is asking your CF team for referrals to reproductive health providers who understand CF. When we've done research and interviews with people with CF, they often reflect that they feel like a middleman in their care, going to reproductive health providers and CF teams where nobody really wants to take ownership of their reproductive concerns. I think a lot of this can be mitigated by asking your CF team who they've worked with before and who really understands the modern era of CF care, not just what they learned in medical school or in their training 20 years ago, but what CF really looks like in 2023. And the last tip on this slide is really remembering that reproductive health is part of CF. So never hesitate to ask your questions and push to get those questions answered. So I really hope this was helpful, and thank you so much for your time.